this is going to annoy a lot of United fans, but I do think VIDIC was a little bit overrated and still is to this day. I don't want to see Arsenal dead. Well, they never win anything anyway. And I'm sure people are going to disagree with us, but it's our podcast. We don't care. Yeah. Lions are going to beat Lincoln Red Imps on Sunday. I'm going to look really stupid if we don't.
It's a big call. Look, I'm going to agree with you. I think Lions will win.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. But I think it's going to be 0-0, and I think it's going to be on penalties. I think that's the way that Lions are going to do it. See you in the final.
On the loser thing, I'm adding Kai to that. He's a baby. He's a massive baby, and I hope he hears this.
So I probably need the introduction and not you, Tom. So I'll probably go first in terms of who I am. So I'm John. I'm the head of content here at Lions Gibraltar. Joined at the start of the year, arguably when the most important games of the season are coming up. Got Tom on board, thank God. You all know Tom FM, but I'll let him do his own little introduction, just in case you're not aware of his or one of his 275,000 subscribers. So, yeah, I'll pass it over to you, Tom.
Thank you, John. That's very kind to say. Yeah, I'm Tom, known as Tom FM online, because I make YouTube videos about Football Manager. And as a Football Manager fanatic, I'm also very interested in all these little leagues around the world and all these different clubs with interesting stories. Lions Gibraltar instantly took me in, and I'm keeping up with them this season.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing with Lions Gibraltar and the people that we're trying to sort of connect with Lions Gibraltar, who I've sort of focused on, is those people who love those little obscure leagues of you'd have no idea that they even play football, and the fact that our league right now, we had people in Europe this season for the first time. They're in Europa Conference League, Lincoln Red Imps, and that's why I sort of wanted to get you on board, because you've actually done a Lions Gibraltar save as well on FM, haven't you?
Yes, I've done a Lions Gibraltar save on Football Manager. I think we went all the way won the Champions League in the end. Took a long time, but managed to do that. And I've been out to Gibraltar twice, actually, to watch football games, weirdly. So, I'm sort of well-versed in the league.
What games did you watch?
So last season, in the 24-25 season, I went to a match at every single round of the Champions League.
Oh, yeah.
And I started off in the first qualifying round with Lincoln Red Imps versus Hammer and Spartans. And the logic behind that is I'm a Lincoln City fan in the UK, and that's my only chance to see Lincoln play in the Champions League in my lifetime, really. So, I thought I could tick that off the list there. So that was a cool game to go and see. And then, this past year, I went to Gibraltar along with one of the companies that work alongside Lions, and went to go and see a game there. We won 2-0, I think it was. 2-0. It was a pretty good game.
Yeah. There was quite a few of you that went over for that game as well, wasn't there? There was a large group of you.
Yeah, there was. It was a really cool game. I think it was the Mons Calpe game in early October, yeah. Big group of us coming along with surprise shirts, they're called.
Yeah, surprise shirts, yeah.
Mystery boxes. Came along for a weekend, got to see the team and the stadium and get to meet the players and the owners and all that kind of stuff. So it was a really cool experience, and got the shirt, obviously, as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. So did you end up going to the Den? Obviously, we've got our own bar in Gibraltar.
Yeah, I went to the Den a couple of times, actually. Had food and drinks there and stuff. It's a really cool little bar, actually. I like how it's sort of hidden away in there. And all the memorabilia on the wall is really, really cool. So it's like a sports fan's kind of like heaven to see those old shirts and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly that. And we actually had a member of our 1966 supporters club go at the weekend. I'm not sure if you've seen on social media.
Oh, wow.
So Alexander, who's actually from Germany, travelled, 2,600 kilometres to come and watch Lions Gibraltar play. Luckily, it was 5-0, so absolutely great result for him. But he was at the Den, and he'd actually handcrafted his own supporters club scarf that he then swapped with the Den. So there's now a German supporters club thing on the wall in the Den. And next time I go out, I can't wait to see it, because he's very, very devoted to the club. So he's followed it since 2016.
Wow.
And he managed to convince his girlfriend to go to Gibraltar. I think he put it under the guise of, we're going on holiday, but we're really going to watch Lions Gibraltar.
Yeah, well, it's a nice little spot, to be fair. It does feel so nice, Gibraltar. I've only been twice, but it just feels like a very chilled, relaxed place, and you've got great weather there as well. So it is like a holiday, even if you go to watch football. So
you say great weather. So over the last month, they've had some absolutely horrendous weather. So, so they've had flooding, they've had really, really, really strong winds, to the fact that they've had to shut a lot of the games down. So the league's actually got quite congested. So Lincoln Red Imps have obviously been in Europe. Yes. So they were already going to have games in hand. But then a lot of games were cancelled around that time as well. So, so Lincoln Red Imps, I think at the moment, have 3 games in hand on a lot of other people within the league.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, we'll touch on the sort of the season update in that. We just sort of, this is the official podcast of Lions Gibraltar. It's always going to be Lions first, Gibraltar second, and then we're going to get into some other little football bits from there. So yeah, like I said, the season update, I think the key thing that we need to talk about is the semi-final of the Rock Cup on Sunday. The biggest game of the season. Lincoln Red Imps, obviously. Of course it had to be Lincoln Red Imps. So I remember I was watching you can't watch the draw, but I was waiting for the draw to come out. So in Gibraltar, they do the draw behind closed doors, which, you never know what happens behind closed doors. But of course, we ended up on the side of Lincoln Red Imps. So we kind of always knew that we had to get through arguably one of the best teams in there. The whole team, like everyone in Gibraltar was actually quite fortunate because St. Joseph's and Lincoln Red Imps, who are obviously the two best in the league, got drawn together in the first round. So we all knew that one of them was going to be out straight away. And that was an incredibly close game. Lincoln Red Imps and St. Joseph's got drawn together in the first round, which was great for everyone else in the cup. And also, obviously, Magpies are a very, very strong team. And I'm not sure how much you know about Gibraltar football, but so Hound Dogs are the minnows of the league. So they're new to the league. And they played in the Rock Cup last year and they lost, I think it might have almost been double digits last year. So them beating Magpies on penalties to see how far they've come in sort of that 12-month period has been incredible. They're not actually bottom of the league because Manchester has been deducted points. So they're not bottom of the league. But yeah, they've had a really, really good season. We drew against them first game of the season. So that was Wally's first game in charge. And we ended up drawing with Hound Dogs. So that just shows how far they've come.
Yeah.
But the thing with sort of Hound Dogs is they don't pay their players.
Oh,
so a lot of people see it as a I'm in the shop window, come and get me type of thing.
Okay.
So the team that we played first game of the season, probably a lot of them wouldn't be there now, if not all. Without looking at the squad list. So they go through quite a lot, but that's the way how they maintain their club through that.
So would those players go to other clubs in Gibraltar, or is it like they go to next door?
Potentially. I think it varies. It depends on what scouts might be coming, who's watching Gibraltar football. So Shea, who we've actually got on later in the episode, he's basically played for 3 or 4 different clubs in Gibraltar. He's basically done a tour of the Gibraltar clubs. He was at Lions, then he left Lions, and he's come back to Lions. So his journey has been that whole Gibraltar football sort of journey. Honestly, when we said we were going to have guests on, I was like, it's got to be our club captain first, and I really can't wait to sort of hear from him.
Yeah, that story is going to be really cool to hear how he's gone.
Yeah,
to club
it really, really is.
Anyway.
Yeah. So last game, obviously, we beat Glasses 5-0. This is a question that I have from you, obviously, not just Gibraltar football. I wanted to hear your sort of opinion on it. So obviously, we've played this week. We've won 5-0. We've got our semi-final against what arguably the hardest team in the league. How different do you think the displays are going to be between them?
It's going to be night and day, I think, really, in the grand scheme of things. Unfortunately, from a Lions perspective, I suspect. Look, if you follow the odds and things like that, then it should be a win for Lincoln Red Imps, right? But the magic of the cup, anything can happen, these kind of things. And I guess they will have more of a priority on trying to win those games in hand they've got against St. Joseph's. So maybe they've got one eye on that and they want to retain the league title instead to get into those Champions League qualifying rounds because that's way more lucrative than being in the Conference League, right? Even the qualifying rounds. So maybe they'll field a different team just to try and put that focus on the league instead, because that is what's going to be the most important thing. But it depends on their fixture schedule and how many of their games are going to be postponed and pushed back and back and back.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. I know you'd rather be in the other semi-final against the two teams that aren't quite as strong as Lincoln, but I think it's a really good opportunity for the club. And, if everyone shows up on the day, everyone puts in the work, who knows what can happen? It could be a really spectacular day.
It's that old saying in football, isn't it? You've got to beat what's in front of you. At some point, we would have come up against Lincoln Red Imps or St. Joseph's. It's just the way that Gibraltar football works. It's like in the FA Cup and stuff like that. You're going to come up against one of the big 6. So arguably, it's better to face them in the earlier rounds because the further on, if it's the final, they're going to want to win.
Yeah.
Semi-final, they might be thinking about the league. And that's what I was kind of thinking. But unfortunately, St. Joseph slipped up last week, which means that Lincoln Red Imps' path to to winning the league is actually a lot easier now than it was before. So I was watching that game. I was like, I don't want St Joseph's to win, but I do want St Joseph's to win because then obviously their focus is going to be on that. But Lincoln Red Imps are actually playing tonight, so they've only got 2 to 3 days rest. But I think they're playing Hound Dogs tonight. So I think if they were going to rest any players or sort of rotate, tonight would kind of be the game that they do that, unfortunately. So the stars haven't aligned in the way that we kind of hoped it. But last time we played Red Imps, we lost 2-1, which I think is a really, really good result considering some of the fixtures and results that Red Imps have had against the other Gibraltar teams this season. And for 60 minutes, I would argue, maybe I'm a bit biased, obviously working for the club, I would argue we were on par with them, if not slightly better. But this is where we sort of come to the squad that we've got at Lions Gibraltar. We've got an incredible starting 11. So we've got Lucas and Mika up top, absolutely incredible, top goal scorers and all this type of stuff. Great defence. We've had, if you've watched recently, the 2 Senegalese lads that have come in. So we've had Papa and Dai come in and Mohamed Mane come in. Papa, literally first game, straight in at centre-back, hasn't been replaced now. Literally started every single game since he's come in, and Mohamed Mane has been coming off the bench. I think it's just the strength and depth that we struggle with. So, yeah, we won 5-0 against Glacis. We rotated the team a little bit, probably around the 50 minutes to give some people some rest. Obviously, we've got a big game coming up. And you could see, I don't want to say drop-off because that's a bit harsh, but you could see the difference in the quality of the players on the pitch when we took off Lucas, when we took off Mika, when we took off all of these influential players in the sort of game. And yeah, that's the only thing for me. And I've discussed it with people in the club. It's if the game was 60 minutes, I would back us to the hill to win. But because obviously it's 90 minutes, that last, in any cup tie, in any country, in any league, that last 10, 20 minutes is the most important of the game.
Yeah, 100%. And especially when it comes to a team like Lincoln, right, who are playing in Europe to a very, very high level, they are just going to be that extra bit fitter, that extra bit more technical as well, that are going to be able to see games out late on sort of thing. So it's no slice on the club or the players or anything like that. It's just a case of like Lincoln are where they are because of how well they've done in previous seasons and they've been able to bring the players in who are attracted by the European football kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the thing with the cup, though, is that it's one game. And that's what so you've seen this in the sort of English football. You've seen Macclesfield obviously beat. Was it Palace they beat? And that was an unreal kind of story. It's one game. Anything can happen. And this is why we're going to come to predictions later on in the podcast. So have that on your mind for the Rock Cup semi-finals. I've gone bold with my prediction. I've gone bold just to give you a little sort of hint of it. And it's just, I don't know, we're coming off the back of a 5-0 win. We narrowly lost to them 2-1 like a week and a bit ago.
Yeah.
If there was ever going to be a time where we could beat them, this would be it for me. This would absolutely be it.
Yeah, it's a good point of the season to play, isn't it? Especially when you've had a good run recently, right?
Yeah.
Is it,
so there's been some bumps in the road. Yeah. So this year, I think we've been on arguably one of the best runs of form we've had because we've been turning up against the bigger teams. Obviously, it's easy to say, we've beaten Hound Dogs and we've done all this and that. But it's when you're turning up against the people. So, obviously the league, obviously from your time on FM with Lions Gibraltar, it splits.
Yes.
So the bottom teams don't play anything. And we are one game away from the championship group where the 6 top teams play each other again. And it goes like that. So we've managed to really solidify our place in that championship group. It's never looked close to us dropping out of that top 6, which is an achievement. We were aiming for top 3 because third gets a qualification into the playoffs for the European. I think third is Conference League. It might be Europa. So that's what we're aiming for. Unfortunately, that's not the way that it's played out because of some results like drawing to Hound Dogs at the start of the season and everything like that. So really, our full focus is on the Cup now because our aim was to get into Europe in some capacity. What will be better next season is because of how Red Imps have done this year in Europe and actually qualified for the Conference League as a whole, our coefficient score has blown up. So we've moved like 5 or 6 places up. which means that next season, 4th place might get European qualification as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So as much as you want to be bitter against the best teams in the league, them doing well in Europe does benefit you as a club.
Precisely, yeah.
And we've sort of, I think a couple of teams have done it this season. So Mons Calp, Magpies have done it in January. A lot of people have gone for it this year.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of teams don't tend to go for it unless they know they could really stand a chance. So I think Magpies, although they're not going to be in the championship group, so I think they were hoping that they could get through in the cup.
Yeah.
They signed like 10 or 11 players in January, which is really strange.
Really
So honestly, I was literally on their social media, and it was just new signing. And I was like, you're only in the cup. So I don't know whether they're preparing for next season, embed them in this season.
Yes.
Have that bit of time to sort of do it. So we actually got one of their players on loan. So Evan De Harrow's joined us on loan until the end of the season. He's a Gibraltar international. He's been incredible since he's come in.
Wow.
And that's because they're not in the championship group. So he wants to play football. So we were like, yeah, all right, we'll have you. And yeah, he's been absolutely great. He was my man of the match against Glasses. But what we do here is we let the 1966 Supporters Club, they get to choose the man of the match. And obviously, Mika won man of the match the game before. Mika won the man of the match in this as well. I think you'll tend to find that, and I think in any football, goal scoring is kind of high up in the scoring for man of the match.
Yeah, I mean, especially I find that at Lincoln City games, because they'll have like a corporate entity come in and be the match day sponsor, and whoever scores the goal gets the man of the match. You know, maybe a defender's kept a clean sheet and has, you know, headed the ball away every single time, put every challenge in and won the ball every single time kind of thing, but doesn't count for anything if it doesn't score a goal. So yeah, man of the match usually goes to whoever gets the goal, yeah.
Yeah. There was something else I just remembered with the man of the match. I was having this conversation with a few of the people who works, like Gaz, who's the chairman and CEO of Lions Gibraltar. What's your thoughts on giving a man of the match when you lose?
Depends how much you lose by. I think sometimes, really. I mean, I don't know. I think it's good to do probably more for the player perspective. Like, you know, if someone's identify you've had a good game, even though the team have lost. You know, it's good for the individual morale, I suppose, in a way. But sometimes it can be a little bit embarrassing. I remember, you know, this was maybe 10 plus years ago now. We Lincoln City, we were playing away at Grimsby Town, so I went there. And we got battered like 3-0 or something like that in the local derby. And the man of the match was given to our goalkeeper despite conceding 3 goals, which just shows how bad everyone else was on the pitch for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be a negative, I think. If all the other players see that and think, wow, he conceded 3 and he gets man of the match, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. We discussed it. I was like, So I'm a West Ham fan. I've obviously grown up as a West Ham fan, and we've been in dire straits before, and I've seen us award a man of the match. We've lost like 4-0, and I'm like, really? You really should not be doing that. It's that embarrassment factor as a fan. It's so quick now on social media for a club to do something, and then you as a fan are affected by it. So your club will act a certain way or do something, and the club don't get that. It's the fans on social media that end up getting that grief from everyone, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just
I think a lot of the time it's just, you know, a case of whoever's sponsoring the match gets, you know, part of the package is a photo with whoever's taken, who's man of the match kind of thing, and it's part of the package. And they kind of have to reward it because it's part of that sort of package, I think, a lot of the time.
Yeah, I remember, so someone I used to work with was a Sheffield Wednesday fan. We're not going to talk about their season this season. Everyone knows what's happening with that. But it was, 2 seasons ago? So it was when they were in the League One playoffs. So I remember we were the match sponsor. So we as a company decided to sponsor that because he was a big Wednesday fan. It was at Peterborough. So we ended up going to Peterborough. We had not a box. I don't know if you've been in corporate. Have you been to the Peterborough Stadium before?
Been to the Peterborough Stadium, not been in corporate, sadly.
Yeah. So, well, there's not much difference, I'll be honest. So it's literally you're just higher up. So I remember we went to Peterborough. We had the meal before and everything like that. You know what it's like. And we were given like man of the match for both teams and all this sort of thing. And we got to go on the pitch. And I remember, so he's a Wednesday fan through and through. And it was when they lost 4-0 at Peterborough, if you remember. I remember I said to him, I was like, we've got to give one of them a man of the match and get a photo. Like, we've kind of done this for this. And I just remember he was like, just give it to anyone. I don't care. Just give it to anyone. And I'll always remember that. And because of the 4-0 loss, we didn't go to the second leg, which was at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that's when they turned it round.
Oh,
they turned it around.
Watching it on TV. I watched it on TV, like, draw on the ground, like, how amazing they played to get to that.
Honestly, he literally... So we walked out, I think, when the fourth goal went in, just into the corporate, like, dining area and that sort of thing. He was like, I can't watch this anymore. And I was like, I get it. Like, if my team was 4-0 down, I'd really struggle to sit there. And then, he was just like, I don't want to go to it. We were going to get tickets. He was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I remember texting him when the goals were going in. I was like, because he lived in Sheffield. I was like, just get yourself there now. Just stand outside the stadium, get involved in it. Yeah. And I just remember he was like, just give it to anyone. There was some kid there and he was like, you just say who it is. And then he had to take a photo. And I remember the look on the Sheffield Wednesday player's face when he was giving it to me. He was like, why am I getting this?
Just a gaunt expression.
Yeah, exactly that. Oh, dear. Yeah, that game will stick with me forever. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the Peterborough Stadium, but I'm not going to go into that.
Of course, yeah.
Maybe something in this. We could compare sort of the club grounds that we've been to, because I'm sure you must have been to many stadiums.
Been to some cool stadiums over the last few years, yes, definitely, especially in the Champions League run that I did, yeah.
Yeah, and I bet the London Stadium isn't one of them. One of the nicer ones.
I've never actually been to the. I went during the Olympics to the London
during the
Stadium,
Olympics,
actually.
yeah.
But not
there's probably more atmosphere during the Olympics than there is at games.
A little bit,
these days.
A little bit. And we were right down near the front actually as well at the start of the 100 meters, so that was really cool to go and see. See the athletes right up close. But no, I've not been since it's been a football stadium. But I've heard it's not the best for that kind of.
As a West Ham fan moving out of Upton Park, I was fuming. Still am fuming. Yeah. Yeah,
a real shame. But
absolutely,
I guess they
shame.
got a great financial deal on, didn't they? So
I think they're paying like very minimal rent, and
it's not much at all from what I remember. It being sort of like a how they pulled this off at the time because it was so cheap.
It's the owners, but again, that we could do a whole podcast on how I feel about the West Ham owners, but we maybe save that for another time. Yeah, right. So let's do a quick reset. Obviously, we've got the interview with Shea coming up. But what we're going to do now is I've got a quick game for you. So what we'll do every month is we will switch it up. So I'm going to ask you this time, and then next month you're going to ask me.
Okay.
So we're going to do start, bench, drop.
Sure. Okay.
And then obviously have a think, explain why you're sort of thinking it. Go with your first instinct here. So we're going to go with English strikers.
Sure.
So we've got Wayne Rooney.
Yep.
Harry Kane.
Yep.
And Michael Owen. I had to make it hard. Of course,
this is hard,
the whole point.
actually.
Yeah.
Because growing up, my hero was Michael Owen. I wasn't a Liverpool fan or anything like that. I think he had like a weird like children's BBC show.
Did he?
I'm sure there was some sort of CBBC show with Michael Owen in it, and he was like, it was like some kid was in there, had a poster of Owen on the bedroom wall, and then for whatever reason, this poster would come to life, and Owen steps out, and then. I seem to remember that being a TV show, but this is like going back to when I'm like 4 or 5 years old. Kind of thing. I guess he was the guy England scoring goals. I loved Michael Owen, thought he was really cool, and I was always a striker growing up playing football. Owen, prime Owen. That's what we've got to think.
So I think what we've got to do with this, because obviously we could look at their whole career in that sort of prime the people. So prime Owen, prime Rooney, prime Kane. Who are you sticking up top? Who are you having on the bench? Who's not even going to be in the stadium?
I think I am biased, obviously, because Owen was my favourite growing up. But prime Owen was Ballon d'Or winning. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to start prime Owen.
Oh wow, okay.
And then
who do you drop? This is
this is horrendous now, isn't it? Horrendous, because Wayne Rooney, generational talent, but Harry Kane has been. At a peak. He's probably the longest peak, I would say, out of all the players.
It's not even just been a peak, it's just him, isn't it? Yeah. It's just, you stick him anywhere and he'll just score. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because he's never really, I don't think he's never had the fanfare that like Rooney's had or Owen's got or anything. He's just sort of done it.
Yeah, a lot more of a normal career in terms of didn't burst onto the scene as like a 17-year-old kid like Owen or Rooney kind of thing. So never had that huge fanfare at the start. Hit his peak and then just has stayed there ever since. Like, he's breaking records in the Bundesliga still in his mid-30s. So I think he's probably underrated because of that a little bit compared to definitely Rooney, I would say.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like it's horrible saying this, but I'm gonna bench Kane and drop Rooney, which sounds horrendous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was not expecting that.
I mean,
it's hard though. This is the thing. It's the the same. You're choosing basically someone on to cheat with your misses and that sort of thing. Like none of it's good.
No, I agree.
None of it is good. Yeah. Wow, I did not expect Rooney. So
No.
I thought it would have been Owen or Kane dropping out. So for me, what I kind of had, and I know Owen was Ballon d'Or. He won the Ballon d'Or and everything. But for me, it's tough because Owen played in a time that was very different to Kane and Rooney. So I try and think of if Owen was playing now, how would he perform? Obviously, Rooney's a little bit back, but I don't think that Owen would be as good as he is, but just because his size, his strength, like that wasn't part of his game. His game was pace. He's not the biggest bloke in the world. He can't head the ball really, not that I remember from all the times I've watched him. But yeah, Owen would be the one that would drop out for me. I was going to start Rooney just because he offers a bit of everything, and then have Kane on the bench. That was mine. But yeah, Rooney.
It's just because like Owen for me as a kid was just like I've googled it, I found it. It was called Hero to Zero.
There was actually one called.
Yeah, it was called British Children. It was a British children's drama television show about a young boy named Charlie Bryce who had many adventures whilst receiving advice from footballer Michael Owen, a 6-part series in 2000. So, like, it's a really niche show and a niche memory to have. But it was a six-episode series featuring Michael Owen. So I'm going to watch that later on.
Yeah, I think you should. And this is the thing. I think everyone knows Michael Owen's not the most charismatic person in the world. So I think I'm going to have to watch this now to see what he was like in it.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, I'd like to imagine that he's like a main character, but I think he may have just stepped out of his poster and said like, "Score some goals," and then then he scores some goals later on in the episode. The kid, and like maybe that's what it was. But
was he actually there, or was it some like horrendous green screening like there was back in the day? I remember some kids shows they just stuck people in via green screen.
It might have been. Again, it was. I mean, 2000. I was 3 years old, so if I went from then, that's crazy.
Making me feel old now. Oh god, that's probably why I don't remember it. So I was born 91, so I'd have been a little bit older. That's probably a little bit too young for me.
Yeah, it would have been definitely. It may have even been CBeebies as opposed to CBBC. I don't know, but either way, it was a show that I remember. I'm going to watch it later on, and that's why Michael Owen is my number one. But
yeah, I mean that makes complete and utter sense. Cool. So yeah, your go. Just remember how hard I made it for you. So
yeah, I will
have a think next month. You need to pick it for me. Right, shall we get the skipper in? Let's see.
Sounds like a good idea.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, Shea.
Pleasure.
How's everything going in Gibraltar right now?
Yeah, it's good, mate. Not bad at all. A bit cold and windy today, but
so I was just explaining to Tom at the start of the podcast. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's always really nice in Gibraltar." And I was like, "No."
It used to be. I don't know what's happened this year. Been an absolute shambles this year, but no, can't complain too much.
Yeah, so we thought probably a good start is just to let you talk. So sort of tell us about your journey in football, where it all started, what the future looks like, that type of thing. We want to hear from you. So yeah, we might chime in with some questions as we sort of go. But yeah, floor's yours, mate.
Cool. Just kicking off now, then. We just
mate, just go for it.
Yeah. My football journey, I think I was 4 or 5 when I first started playing football. I kind of fell into it, really. I was at a mate's house when I was a kid after school. And his mum was supposed to drop me home when my parents got home from work, but it was running late one day, so they just said, "Oh, just come and join in and play football." So I was always kicking a ball before that, but I kind of just fell into it that way and just got the bug ever since. And then from there, young ages, I was involved in a few youth academy setups, the likes of Chelsea, Charlton, and then obviously county level and stuff. And that was right up until the age of about 10, 11, 12. And then this was all in the UK. And then I moved to Gib when I was 12. My family relocated out of here. My dad got a job out here, and obviously at that time I didn't really have much choice than to join them, which I wasn't too pleased about. But honestly, I think it's the best thing that's happened to me coming out to Gib. It's been real great place for me, and now having a young family growing up, it's home now. It is home. So yeah, when I moved to Gib, I struggled to get into a team when I first moved here. My dad was contacting all the clubs. It was kind of mid-season. Everyone's like, "No, we're full. We don't have any spaces." I went to one training session. They said, "Yeah, you can come along and play," and then they signed me off that training session. It was quite, and this was for a club called Chelsea back in the day. Because obviously I'm a big Chelsea fan. So is my dad. He realised there was a club called Chelsea in Gibraltar.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one you're going to. So yeah, that kind of happened. And then I've just been playing football Gib ever since. And then after Chelsea, I moved to Manchester 62, who had a really good youth setup at the time. It was a real great club to be a part of from a youth setup. And I spent all my youth level there, basically. And from then, that's where I kind of broke into the senior football side of things. I started playing senior football in Gib at the age of 16 with Manchester. And I've been playing senior football in Gib in the top 5 since the age of 16, really.
Wow.
So I had a good couple of seasons at Manchester. We had a really good team at the time. We was competing. But obviously I was young, I was 16. This was 3-4 seasons. So I've always been a centre half. I've always seen myself as a centre half, but obviously due to my age and stuff, I was playing a lot of the time at right back, which is fair enough, learning my trade, getting used to men's senior football, which was fine. But I got to an age where I was 19, 20, and I was kind of thinking, ready to play centre half. Unfortunately, the chance didn't really come at Manchester. I had a great time there, great people there, but an opportunity came up elsewhere where I was going to be signed as a centre half. So I took it, and that was a club called Britannia at the time. So we've done a season at Britannia. Again, started off really positively, and things died off towards the end of the season. The club, unfortunately, no longer exists. But it was a club that had great history due to circumstances off the pitch. That club kind of folded.
Very political of you saying it that way.
Yeah. I was trying to wrap my brain what words to use. That come up, and then from there, I signed from Lions, and at the time it was Davey Wilson was the manager. This was probably 10 years ago now. Got a call from Davey because I worked for him previously at Manchester. He said, wanted to be part of it. Yeah, ever since then, I haven't looked back. I think this would be my 9th, 10th year season at Lions. So yeah, I've been around a lot. There's been a lot of changes since in those 10 years for sure. But yeah, I don't know how many games I've now played for Lions, but it's definitely up in the hundreds.
Has to be, surely, yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of looking at stats the other day on Transfer Market, but I think these stats only kind of come in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it doesn't take into account the older ones.
Yeah, and I think there was 250 plus appearances, so then missing another 4 seasons of that. But the other side of that, I was looking at the yellow card tally, which is not great either.
So there was actually something I was looking on Transfer Market, and Gaz wanted me to ask this as well because we were looking at it together. And at the start of the season, your transfer value was 50k. What do you reckon your transfer value is now?
I'm going to say it's gone down, and I'm blaming it on age. 25.
25k, exactly. Literally, it halved over the season, yeah. Because Gaz was like, that's gone down 25k over this season. Yeah, I was like, I'll ask him what he thinks.
I'm not sure he's doing that, but we've got to have a conversation about
that. Do it. Yeah, so, a question that I've kind of got around Gibraltar football, it sounds like when people get into Gibraltar football, there's a lot of people that stick around and just sort of move from club to club. So in terms of the playing staff and that sort of thing, how much has Gibraltar football changed since you came over at 16?
Massively. When I first started playing in the league when I was 16, it was for fun. There was obviously no professional teams, no professional contracts. Don't think anyone was really getting paid at all. And it was just for the love of the game. It was for fun. It was for passion. You might train once or twice a week, a little kick around, and that was it. Since obviously being accepted into UEFA, that's obviously changed massively. a real professional league now. There's some real top quality teams and players, and club setups have improved drastically. And yeah, obviously the chance to play in European football is absolutely huge for anyone. And obviously with there only being 12 teams in the league, I think it's probably one of the highest leagues in the world in terms of percentage rate of getting into Europe. So it's huge opportunities, and I guess that's why players stick around. It's improving year on year. The players are getting better, the teams are getting better, and obviously that end goal of European football is such a huge pull that people want to stay around.
Yeah. So we're just obviously discussing the Rock Cup on Sunday. You know, what 2 games away from European qualification in the playoffs. What's the mood? What's the mood like? Obviously, we beat Glasses 5-0 at the start of the week, but obviously full focus will now be on the semi-final. What's everyone feeling like?
Yeah, full focus on the semi-final. We're feeling good, to be honest. I think when we played Lincoln, obviously Lincoln, it's going to be an incredibly tough game. In a one-off game, anything can happen. You can beat anyone. Last season, we was fortunate enough to beat him in the league, so we know we can do it. Obviously, it's going to be a super tough game. The mood is good. The focus is there. We fully believe that we can win the game, and that's what we're going out to do. I think obviously we played them last week, and we lost narrowly 2-1. But I thought in that game we had a really good account of ourselves. The first half was really good. I thought we could have probably gone in 1 or maybe 2 up, to be honest with you. So I think the mood's good. We're definitely positive. It's a 90-minute game. Anything can happen. I think we're fully focused. Obviously, we got a taste for it last season. We got to the final. We want to do that again and hopefully go one step further. So yeah, mood's good. Everyone's positive and everyone's ready.
Is there a very different mood in the changing room when you're getting ready for a cup game compared to a league game, particularly at this point of the season when obviously the title and stuff, maybe top 3 out of the question a little bit? So is it very different now when you come into a semi-final and think, okay, this is our route to Europe now, we need to try and really step things up? Is it different?
Maybe subconsciously, but I think you got to treat every game the same. You got to look at every single game as this is your last game. This is a cup final. Go and win it. But you're right. You know the pressure and what's at stake with the cup. It's one game, you're out. Like how many in a player's season might be lucky enough to do 10, 12 seasons. That's 10 or 12 opportunities to get to a cup final, and that's a knockout stage. So there is that element of leave absolutely everything out there. Whereas maybe as a league game, you're focusing on the game, but you know what's coming up. You've got other league games to focus on and stuff. But with a cup game, it's all or nothing, right? So you've got to go full throttle and give absolutely everything.
Yeah. So this is something that I've always wanted to know, because obviously I followed Wally's career from way back when. What's he like after a win and after a loss? You need to be diplomatic again, don't you? So
no, you know what? He's very mellow. Even if we win or lose, he's very level-headed. I think that's probably always had such a career. He doesn't seem to get too high, doesn't seem to get too low. It's always, if we win, good. What did we do well? Work on that again. Do the same thing. What we didn't do well, improve on, and go into the next game. So it's very much a level-headed manager. He doesn't, obviously, when we need a grilling, he gives us a grilling. That's for sure. But he's not too up and down in terms of the emotions. It is very much level-headed, remain focused, do what we've done well, and fix what we didn't, basically. So, yeah. with the odd hairdryer treatment.
Yeah. I was going to say, very well answered, Shea. Very well answered. I'm sure he'll be happy at that.
A little different to the crazy gang kind of era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. That's for sure. I can definitely see there's something in there, though, so I don't want to cross that.
Let's hope you never see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you sort of see your future? Are you going to be at Lions till you retire, or where do you sort of see yourself going?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the conversation with the club and with Wally. I see this as my last season, to be honest with you, in terms of playing. Yeah, I think I've got to the point where I see myself outside of the pitch more than on the pitch now. I think it's the right time for me. Work life, family life. And obviously that saying from Jamie Carragher, leave the football before the football leaves you, is very much in my mind. So I don't want to be. I think at the moment I'm able to compete and I feel good, but I think my body's telling me now that it's time to slow down. So I think this is my last season, to be honest with you.
Will that change if you win the Rock Cup and get into Europe next season, though?
I mean, the season doesn't end until the European stuff's over, so that's not the start of a new season. So I'm still counting that as the same season.
Sure.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So what I wanted to do to sort of end the sort of interview, we appreciate sort of, actually, I did have one more question. What's, in your playing career in Gibraltar, what's the biggest success story? Like the player who's come in and now is just in a whole different realm?
Any player that's coming to Gib?
Any player. So any player that's been in Gibraltar at any sort of team and now has gone on to great things. What's the biggest success story out of Gibraltar, would you say?
It's a tough one because a lot of players that come into Gib tend to be more at the end of their career after having a very successful career elsewhere. So they played at a really high standard. They're kind of towards the end of the career and they come to Gib. The other way around, it's a tough one. It's probably TJ. TJ's he's in Gib. He's playing at Lincoln. He left, went to Wickham, had a few seasons there, and by all accounts done pretty well. I was reading quite a lot of the fan forums. They was all really pleased with him. He played pretty well, but then he's come back to Gib. But he's probably the biggest success story coming out of Gib to go and play at a good top level. And was it League One he was playing, which is a really good standard. There was a lad I used to play with back in the day. He's now out playing in Thailand or the Philippines in the top flight there because he's Spanish born, but he had a Filipino mother, I believe. So he's playing for the Philippines national team. He's out there playing top flight football. And also Connor from last season, Connor in Gillespie. He's out playing in Indonesia now.
Oh wow.
And he's doing really well there. And same for Alberto, right? He was with us last season. He's out in Saudi now playing.
Yeah.
So there is definitely some really good positive news stories. But I think the biggest ones probably has to be TJ.
Did James Scanlon ever play in Gibraltar? Because I know he's in the national team. Okay.
No, he's never played. He's obviously in the national team. He's always been in UK based. I think he's Man United youth, and now he's gone on loan to Swindon, I believe.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
By all accounts, doing well there. He scored the other day again. But yeah, I don't think he's ever, maybe at youth level, but not at senior level. I don't think.
Yeah. Is that the sort of thing where he's qualified through like a mother or father through Gibraltar like that?
I think so. Yeah, I don't personally know him, but I believe it's via a relative that him and his brother both play for Gib.
So this will be a tough question as captain because you don't want to single anyone out.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the current squad at Lions that you could see going on to better things? You know, you'd be diplomatic about it, obviously, but yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of boys in there that have got good potential. We've got quite a young squad that can probably go on to do a lot of good things. Mika has been at a really high level previously. He's performing really well this season. There's no reason.
Was he at Kilmarnock before? I think it was Kilmarnock, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was at Kilmarnock. He's been at Bournemouth. He's been around the Football League for quite a lot. So he obviously has the potential and been there. He's done that already to go on to a really successful club. In terms of the young boys, yes. Yeah, and we've got some really good players, to be fair. There's some players of great quality. Rayner, Tom, who's come in this season, has got great quality. Obviously, Pape, who's come in recently, he's looking really good. All still really young, so got a long way to go, but there's definitely boys in there that can go on. Lucas as well has been unbelievable for us.
Yeah.
He's honestly been one of the best players I play with in recent times. He can just do everything, and he puts the absolute fear into defenders. I think he could quite easily go on to a really good level.
Before I move on to any sort of quick fire questions, because I've got like 4 quick fire questions at the end where I need you to answer in 5 seconds. Tom, have you got anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, there's one more I wanted to ask actually. You have your whole career in Gibraltar. Was there ever any temptation to like go into Spain or somewhere else instead, or was it always a plan of I want to stay in Gibraltar?
But to be honest, the whole UEFA thing come about 10 years too late for me. Because by that time I already had a full-time job, I had family, kids. Obviously at the time, the football side of things wasn't covering it wasn't my income, basically. My work and stuff was. So my main focus for the last 6, 7, 8 years was working. Football was like the side thing for me. If this was 10 years prior and I was 18, 16, 17, 18, 19, then I would 100% be tempted to go out and just to get that experience and see what it is. But I was settled in gym, family, job, everything. That was my main commitment. So I didn't really have that pull. Saying that, if Saudi come along with a nice offer, I wouldn't say no.
Just like Labango's, it's just gone for the bag.
Yeah. I've been tapping him up saying, do you need anyone to clean your boots or anything, mate? I'm there.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, like I said, 4 quick fire questions. No thinking. Just go for it, right?
Yeah.
Most intense teammate?
Ben.
Who hates losing the most?
Vika.
Toughest opponent?
I faced. TJ.
Yeah. And finally, this is an easy one. What's your message to the supporters? Because they'll be watching this, obviously ready to watch on Sunday. What's your message to them?
Just a thank you, I guess. Thanks for all the support. It does mean a lot. Obviously, we're trying to grow our fan base, and it means a lot to have people backing us and watching us and sending us positive messages and supporting and watching. Our messages to them: thank you. The more you're there, the more we see you, the better we feel. Hopefully, the better we perform. So, yeah, thanks is really over to them.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Shea. Thanks for your time. Hopefully, we've not taken too much of your time.
No problem at all. Enjoyed it.
And yeah. Look forward to seeing you when we're next out in Gib. I'm going to drag Tom over to Gib. Hopefully, when we're in the final, we'll be over there. So yeah, all eyes on the final.
Yeah, look forward. Actually, on the loser thing, I'm adding Kai to that. He's a baby. He's a massive baby. And I hope he hears this.
I'll make sure Kai hears it. I'll put a little snippet in there and send it directly to him, so he'll see it.
Good, thank you.
Bill, thank you very much, Shea.
Right, cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah.
He definitely won't retire if they make it into Europe.
No,
100%.
No, I'm not having
He's
that
already
at all.
thinking of technicalities. Like technically, it's this season.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's got to stick around.
Yeah. You'd have to. You'd absolutely have to, wouldn't you?
Yes, 100%. No way.
So we've got another little debate. It's something that's been doing the rounds. I think I've already told you about it. So it's the John Terry versus Virgil van Dijk versus Rio Ferdinand versus VIDIC.
Oh, okay.
Who is better? So we're not going to put them in order. We are literally just going to say who we think is the best out of them, for what reason, and we're sort of the way that I want to do this, and I think the way that we need to frame this, because they've played in different eras, we need to stick them all in the same era. Okay. So I think the easiest, because obviously probably what we've watched the most is the current era. Yep. Going through. So the Virgil van Dijk era, okay. How would Terry be in it? How would Vidic be in it? And how would Rio be in it? Have you got any thoughts in your head already?
I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit because being a Lincoln City fan, that's all I've ever been, really. I was never like massively bothered by the Premier League kind of thing. So although I know Vidic, incredible player, like I don't really remember watching him all that much or anything like that. Yeah. So already in my head, like if Vidic is out of it, just on the ground, I just don't remember much about him playing, kind of thing. So
the funny thing is that I did watch Vidic. So that was obviously I'm a little bit older than you. So growing up, I sort of saw that Rio and Vidic, and this is going to annoy a lot of United fans, but I do think Vidic was a little bit overrated and still is to this day. I'm not really sure. He was good. Like I'm not going to sit here and say he's bad, but he was overrated. And if he played now, he doesn't have the pace for it. He's just a very stationary defender. From what I remember, again, we are definitely going to have some Man United fans rinsing me in the comments here. But yeah, he's out of it for me. He the first thing I thought when I saw this was Vidic isn't even in the question for me.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would put John Terry above Rio Ferdinand. I think. I think for me, he was just that little bit more of a solid, fearsome defender. I think he just had a little bit more about him compared to Rio. I mean, they were both leaders, weren't they? But I think on the ground I think Rio probably played in a better United side than Terry.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
But I think perhaps maybe Terry could shine more in that Chelsea side because it wasn't quite as strong as that United side. And, he had the opportunity to sort of be that leader and hero on the pitch kind of thing. Kind of at both ends. He scored a lot of goals, was great defensively as well. So I think he maybe had more of an impact for the club as well because of that. Is what I'm going with there.
Yeah, the squad that Rio played with was unbelievable. That Man United squad was unreal. Arguably one of the best squads I think we'll ever see in the Premier League. If you look at every single position of bar right back, I'm not a Gary Neville fan, but let's not talk about that. That squad was just unreal. And Rio didn't really need to be the only leader. You've got Roy Keane in there. You've got all of these sorts of players who could kind of do that. And again, so this is the thing for me. It's a very similar question to when you had to choose between Owen, Rooney and that, because both Terry and Rio came through the West Ham Academy and then left us. So it's really hard for me to be impartial towards that. But yeah, for me, Terry pips it over Rio. Again, Man United fans are going to hate me. You can share it this time because you've said exactly the same things.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is the key debate that people have been having is the Terry and Van Dijk. You are either on, from what I've seen online and seen the debates happening, you are on one side, you're on the other, and then you clash with the other. I'm not sure if you've seen some of the arguments that people have been having about Van Dijk and how he's overrated and Terry, him being overrated and stuff like that. But what's your sort of thinking about that?
I mean, I think I'm biased because I'm English, and I'll probably edge Terry on it if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I think Van Dijk's a great defender. I think Terry's probably got more longevity than Van Dijk. I think perhaps maybe you're starting to see Van Dijk over the last season or two just drop off that peak a little bit.
Yeah. The whole Liverpool team in general has sort of had that drop off, haven't they?
Yeah, true. It's not been brilliant this past season for them. But I think Terry had that bit more longevity. And then he went to Aston Villa, didn't he? At the very back end of his career, right? So he's still playing at a very high level, probably higher than... not as high as Liverpool right now with Van Dijk. I'm not quite sure how the ages match up in terms of that.
Yeah. I think because he stayed at Chelsea so long, it's hard to remember when he left.
I think certainly Van Dijk is probably more physical. And, if you've got if you're the last man defender, you'd probably pick Van Dijk over Terry in that sort of situation, I'd imagine. They're both very aerially dominant as well.
Yeah. Because there was that season, if you remember, that everyone was talking about how no one had dribbled past Van Dijk. Like, even though I'm pretty sure I looked at the stats, I think people did. It was just this thing that everyone said that no one had dribbled past Van Dijk. And
it's so difficult.
I'm trying to think of the age. So obviously Van Dijk only really sort of made it when he moved to Southampton, didn't he? But I feel like that would have been mid-20s. It might have been earlier, but that was when he first broke into the scene, if you want. He was obviously very good before Southampton, but that was where everyone was like, okay, this guy's a real contender. And I think that was quite late on, whereas Terry was doing it, because obviously he left West Ham and then went to Chelsea, and that was it. That was his career, doing it there. Whereas obviously Van Dijk broke in, I would say, what would be considered late. Not as late as a Jamie Vardy, but late for a defender in this kind of debate of greatest defender.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at Terry's Wikipedia here very quickly, and he's played at least 20 games in like 16 seasons in a row in the Premier League for a top team across that sort of time kind of thing. So he's definitely got the longevity over Van Dijk. Maybe Van Dijk had a bit higher peak potentially. But I think...
it's tough. Did he? Terry, because Terry won the Champions League. He won it all. So's Van Dijk. It's that Chelsea era when they had Mourinho and that type of thing. They were winning everything. But again, it's a different era.
I still think that the physical attributes of Van Dijk in this modern era probably mean he's had a slightly higher peak in terms of like how good he actually is.
The level, yeah.
But I think based on the length of his career and how high he was playing at that top level for such a long time, I mean, I'm sure Van Dijk, could have done it as well. He was playing for Celtic before Southampton, right?
Oh, it was Celtic, that was it, yeah.
It was Celtic, yeah, and was playing in the Netherlands before then. So I guess his level of... He's not played at the very highest level for quite as long, but when he has been there, he's been consistently incredible kind of thing. And we say
because he was only at Southampton for 2 years, I want to say. Is it 2 years?
This is his 9th season at Liverpool now, actually. Three
wow.
seasons at Liverpool, sorry. No, moved in January, actually, so 2.5 at Southampton, 8.5 at Liverpool, yeah.
That was when Southampton was the feeder club for Liverpool, if you remember.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, everyone came from Southampton to...
It's like the Brighton and Chelsea connection now. If you do well at Brighton, you're going to Chelsea.
Yes, precisely. There were so many that moved, wasn't there? But no, I think I'm going to give it to John Terry, personally.
Okay. You're happy with that?
Yeah, I'm locked in.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm going to go with Terry as well. It's very... We've agreed on every single point in this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we should plan it to disagree on more things.
Yeah, I don't think this will happen every time. And I think it's our age. I think a lot of the people who are saying Van Dijk now are younger and didn't watch Terry like we watched Terry. Like I still remember him falling over and crying in the Champions League final penalty, if you remember.
Against United in Moscow.
Yeah. That's like my sort of knowledge. Obviously, that's not accounted into why I've chosen him. But yeah, it was just... I would love to... It would be so good to have a sort of time machine to see how these players would perform in this sort of day and age. Like people like Roy Keane, for example, he'd be sent off every week. I've no idea how he could sort of play. And yeah, I'd just love to see Terry. Chelsea could use a centre-back. He'd probably still want to do it now. But no, for me, it has to be Terry. I think it's an age thing. And I'm sure people are going to disagree with us, but it's our podcast. We don't care.
We don't care. This isn't a democracy. This is what we say goes.
Exactly. And I did not think we'd agree. We literally agreed on every single point of those four there.
Yeah.
We obviously disagreed on the English strikers, which is good, for content purposes.
Of course.
But no, we'll need to pick some better comparisons next time to really, really get the juices for. Maybe Lincoln players, yeah.
Yeah, we can do Lincoln players. I can talk all day about them, so that'd be all right.
Oh, we need to say Lincoln City, not Lincoln Red Imps.
Of course, yeah.
So I was talking to Gaz about how you obviously do a bit of commentary as well for Lincoln. He was like, what's he doing out in Gibraltar? Why is he commentating on Gibraltar? I was like, Lincoln City, Gaz. Lincoln City. Oh, dear. Right. Prediction time. This is probably where we're going to disagree.
Okay. I'll lock in.
So we're going to do this every month of a set amount of games.
Sure.
We're going to do a Rock Cup special, obviously.
Yes.
So the other semi-final is Mons Calp against Glacis. And obviously we're against Lincoln Red Imps, which you were aware of. So I'm looking for scoreline, first scorer. Because you're not that versed on the players, I'll just say what team you think will score first.
Okay.
And a bold call.
Okay.
I'll let you have a think about that, just because obviously, and I'll kind of go first. So I genuinely think this could maybe fit in as a bold call. Lions are going to win in normal time, not even on penalties. I think it's going to be a 2-1 scoreline in our favour. I think we'll score first. They'll equalise, and then we're talking 85th sort of minute. We grab a goal, and then everyone behind the ball park the bus, substitute Wally on. He can lay down on the pitch and make sure that no one can get past him. I'm gonna say this to the camera, put it on record. Lions are going to beat Lincoln Red Imps on Sunday. I'm going to look really stupid if we don't.
Wow. It's a big call. Look, I'm going to agree with you. I think Lions will win. I'm going to say that. But I think it's going to be 0-0, and I think it's going to be on penalties. I think that's the way that Lions are going to do it. I think, especially if Lincoln are playing tonight.
Yes.
They're going to rotate a bit against Hound Dogs.
Yeah.
But there'll be a few tired faces on the team. I'm sure they'll want to win the game, obviously, and they'll want to make sure they win it. So they'll play a few decent players in there that will play in the cup as well. So I'm sure they will have some tired legs. And I think Lions can get it to 0-0 in 90 minutes. And I think on penalties, that's where they'll shine.
Yeah, I hate penalty shootouts. Mm-hmm. I absolutely despise them. I don't think I've watched a penalty shootout and supported a team that's won. So you think of all...
I'm not supporting either team, I love them. But yeah, when it's your team, it's horrible.
Even that, I always pick... I don't know whether this is something that only I do, but I always pick someone. Whenever I'm watching a game, I can't be a neutral. I always have to root for someone. And it's usually like 99 times out of 100, the underdog.
Yeah.
I love an underdog story. I don't want to see Man United win everything. I don't want to see Arsenal. They never win anything anyway. But I don't want to see the big team win. So when Hound Dogs were playing Magpies, I was like, "Come on, Hound Dogs! It's one of our rivals." But I'm like, "Yeah, come on!" And they won it, and I was ecstatic. But no, in terms of West Ham penalty shootouts, I don't think I remember any that we won. England shootouts, we won one. I remember we won one in the quarters or semis, didn't we? We won Colombia. 2 in a row. Was it 2 in a row?
I can't remember what tournament it was. I remember the Colombia one because I remember Eric Dyer going up for the final penalty thinking, well, that's it, we're not winning this game. and then he absolutely thundered it home. So
yeah, I hate it when they try and do, like, if you're going to do like a deft touch, like a really, really like placed shot, then be good at it or just power it. Because Harry Maguire's taken one for us as well, hasn't he? And he just went absolutely smashed it. That's what I'd go for. I think Pickford ended up taking one at one point as well, didn't he? And he just absolutely smashed it in. Just do that. If you're not confident, just smash it. If you miss and you smash it, I don't mind as much. If you go for a little like chip, Panakas, don't even get me started on them.
I know what you mean, yeah. Just make sure there's no doubt, make sure there's no doubt.
Exactly. I think that's the number one thing that all managers say, isn't it? You had it when United... Did they lose their penalty shootout? Well, was it this year or last year? And it must have been this year because Sesko ended up not taking a penalty and they went out.
Yeah.
And it came out afterwards that the manager was like, "Are you confident in this?" And Sesko was like, "Not really. This is like my first or second game in Man United colours." So he was like, "You're not taking one then."
Yeah.
Which I think is the best thing to do.
No, I agree. Yeah.
If we go back to the final, obviously where England lost in the final because Saka, Rashford, Sancho, I think, were the three that missed it.
I think so, yeah.
So Saka, at that point, not really taking penalties for Arsenal. So it was a weird decision to put him on that. Rashford and Sancho had barely played in the tournament. So putting all that pressure on them to do it, honestly, that decision still haunts me to this day. The fact to get them to take it. But it must have been, there must have been a reason. Like Southgate's not...
They'll have put themselves forward, I'm sure, for it, definitely.
Yeah, But that's what I think the manager in a penalty shootout is more important than the players.
Yeah,
I think people always put it on the players.
Yeah, I think players in the back of their mind sometimes we're thinking about, their moments of glory kind of thing, potentially. I think the manager has to have a bit more critical thinking about it and
absolutely
ask that a little bit more. Yeah.
And that's if I was a manager, I would be like, this is my lineup. I would only ever drop someone out of that penalty shootout if I'm looking at them and they're quaking in their boots.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're not ready. You're definitely not kind of ready for that. Okay, so we both think we're going to beat Lincoln.
I really hope so. That'd be amazing for the club, wouldn't it? And
and we get to go out to Gibraltar.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? That'd be fantastic.
And what do we think about the other semi-final of Glasses against Monskalp?
Again, like you say earlier, underdogs are fun, and I'd love to see an underdog win here of Glasses. I'd love to see them get the win. And get themselves to the final because, obviously they've had a great season. They're down at the bottom end of it, right? But for them to get to a final would be fantastic. And on paper, if Lions get there, it should be a better matchup for Lions in that regard. So thinking about that, but the underdog story there is what I want to see.
Yeah, well, to be fair, both semi-finals are underdogs.
Yeah.
They really are. Lions are the underdogs in that
true.
Against Lincoln. And this is the thing as well, without looking at the table, Monskalp are currently third. So I think they'll want to lock in that third because that guarantees them Europe. So
yes.
Could they have an eye on the league as well? There's a potential
they're
that
level on points with Europa FC, right? Aren't they?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Are they going to be focused on the league? Do you go for the cup or third position. It's one of those tough decisions you've got to make because you could go for both and you could lose both. So there's always going to be a sort of focus, hasn't there? And managers always say, no, we're focusing on the next game. No, you're not. Everyone's thinking about we need to finish third or we need to win the cup. Which one do you go for? It's tougher because obviously there's 2 games in the cup and then 5. Well, they've got 1 game left in the normal league, and then they've got 5 games in the championship group. So it's 2 games against 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a hope. I want Glasses to win as well. I think a Glasses Lions final. So are you aware of someone called Sean Scanlon? Do you remember Sean Scanlon, who played for Palace way back when?
Sure.
He's sort of been around the block. He plays for Glasses now, so he actually made his debut against us. He was quality. He was absolutely quality. Even though he's one of the older players there, he was absolutely quality. So there's a moment there as well. It's like he's going to be bedded in by the final. So if we had Glasses, that could absolutely change the game. The 5-0, I just think there wasn't anything that Glasses did wrong. I just think we were just unstoppable. Watching the game, that's the best I've seen us play all season. So yeah, there isn't really... It's at that point, you don't want to face anyone, really. But if I wanted to face, it'd be Glasses, because I think it'd be a funner game.
Yeah, agree.
I think if it was Lions against Mons Calp, it would be a sketchy game. It would be like someone ekes out a 1-0 win or something like that. It's not going to be an absolute goal fest. And even though I obviously support Lions, I want a goal fest. I want a bit of fun. The Lincoln game's not going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you play St. Joseph's and Lincoln, it's just not going to be that. But an even more bold call we could do. So we've played 2 rounds in the Cup and we've won 4-0 both times. Imagine if we beat Lincoln Redham's 4-0. Not going to happen. Well,
not quite. If that does happen, there's some big questions to ask about Lincoln, I think, at that point.
Yeah. That's the thing. The pressure on those managers must be quite intense.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because they are the top 2 teams and you have to. Like, there is... I don't think there's many other leagues in the world. Like, even PSG at France might be close, but you have got some other bigger teams there as well. That's probably the closest. But Premier League, yeah, you don't really have that. German league, you've got Bayern, but then you've got other teams sort of coming up. Spain, you've just got Real Madrid, Barca, and then you potentially have Atletico and stuff. They've done really well. But those managers, they must really, really feel that pressure.
100%. And I feel like there's probably more pressure on Wally than there is the Lincoln manager at this point. I think Lincoln will be judged more on their ability to win the league and get back into Europe. That's their focus, right? This is what's big for Lions right now. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pressure on Wally in particular to make this work.
And that's the thing as well, because if we don't win the semi-final, realistically, we're not going to get third.
Yeah.
Because of the points difference. So yeah, that there is that immense pressure. But again, it might give... So people like Shea, obviously, when we sort of interviewed him, they want to play in Europe.
Yeah.
This is their only way to play Europe, essentially. I don't know if it's mathematically, but it'd be very, very... I don't think it's very, very unlikely that we make third. So I think that will help us. If we were still fighting for third, like for example, Mons Calpar, the players won't be as up for it. I don't think personally. Me as a player, I've played football like all my life. This is the only way we can make European qualification. I'm putting 200% on the pitch. I'm not leaving anything on it.
It's exciting. It's so exciting. Like the possibilities there. Like it must be one of those kind of games that like keep a player up at night. They're trying to get to sleep, but they're all just thinking about what could happen. Potentially we could be in the Conference League next season. This is amazing. Like,
yeah,
it's one of those things that I think it gets into the psyche of a player quite a bit, and they've got to have that ability to keep themselves calm and keep themselves grounded in that, because I think you could probably quite easily get carried away a little bit.
And it sounds like from Shea that Wally is that level head that can keep them that way. So yeah, that's really, really good to hear. On a personal note, I want to go on a European tour. I want to go to Kazakhstan away on a Thursday night.
Yes. That's the beauty. I think my favourite part of European football is the qualifying rounds, because you just get these really cool, interesting teams that, have had a fantastic season. They've got themselves into a great position. They're going to have, arguably the best pre-season of their life because all these games are going on, right? And I think it's so cool to have that kind of experience and go around and see some new places that you wouldn't go to for any other reason than football.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm not sure how the missus would feel about me traveling around Europe to some of these countries, but I just want to do a Kazakhstan away day. I just feel like a Kazakhstani away day.
I felt very jealous of the Celtic fans this season going to Almaty to go and play in the Champions League against Kairat. So
I know.
I want that kind of experience.
Yeah, that's good. Right, I think we've covered sort of everything we really wanted to cover.
I think so.
And we will either be really, really happy next time we do this podcast, or really, really upset.
Two extremes, yeah.
Yeah, there's not really going to be any in between. But just want to thank everyone for listening. And yeah, we really, really hope to see you next time. You know, this has been Uncaged. Have you got any lines you want to say, Tom, before we
see you in the final?
See,
yeah,
that's a bold one. That's. I pointed at the camera. You looked directly at the camera and did that. Yeah.
I mean it. I'll see you guys in the final.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.